I get home and I go to open my fridge, grab me a snack, and there's a note that I brought it here. There's a note that he left on the refrigerator. And Your Honor, the note said goodbye forever.
Let me see this. And pass me the ring, too, while we're passing things.
I paid for everything. The ring, the bachelorette party, the wedding. And then I found a note on the refrigerator. It said, "Goodbye forever." That note wasn't dramatic. That note was a detonation. 2 words sitting on a refrigerator door that ended 10 years in one afternoon.
Today I have a very interesting case for you guys. A woman is suing her ex-fiancé for $15,000 to recover the wedding expenses she incurred after he called off the engagement just 2 weeks before the big day, with no explanation. What happened?
But here's what nobody asks when they see a scene like that. What happened before the note? Because in every story where someone disappears without explanation, the explanation already existed.
Let's find out.
Hi, Miss Harris. You are suing the defendant, Mr. Brown, for $15,000 because you all were getting married. But there's more to this than the $15,000. First of all, let's start with how did you all meet? How do you all know each other?
So we met in college. And from that moment, I was a freshman, he was a sophomore. And from that moment on, like, it was sparks, it was magic. We were inseparable.
Sparks and magic. You are inseparable now because you're on the opposite side of my courtroom. My goodness. Love at first sight?
Yes, automatically.
Automatic?
Yes.
The other person just hadn't been caught holding it yet. Before we pull this case apart layer by layer, make sure you're subscribed to Real Court Case Verdict.
Automatic.
Yes. To me, she's one of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. But the way that things have unraveled was quite surprising to me because we're about order, we're about functionality. At least I thought we were, ma'am. And so I don't know what happened, but it happened, and so we're here today.
Okay, well, let's go back to what happened. Where were you all in school?
In Alabama, A&M. Yeah. We ended up falling in love so deep and so fast that it ended up being 10 years. We had been together for 10 years.
Wow.
Before we decided to officially get married.
Because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. Picture this. A woman walks back into her apartment after her bachelorette weekend in Vegas, opens her refrigerator looking for a snack, and finds a breakup note instead. No phone call, no conversation, no meeting. Just 2 words and a missing fiancé. 2 weeks before the wedding she paid for. $15,000 already spent. Vendors booked, dress purchased, family flying in. All of it detonated by a sticky note. The story she brought to court was clean. 10 years together. College sweethearts.
10 years.
Well, I thought it was a regular blossoming relationship. I had proposed in Savannah some time back. We were supposed to have our wedding in June. I thought that the relationship was secure because I had brought stability and normalcy to the relationship.
He proposed on a pier in Savannah.
Beautiful, yeah.
Because I'm a Georgia girl. I'm from Georgia. Yeah, I love Savannah.
It was really beautiful. And we were on the pier walking, just talking, laughing. I looked out on the ocean for a minute, and when I turned back around, he was down on one knee. And it literally took me by surprise. I thought it was just another one of our dates. I mean, even though we were out of town, so it was a little bit special, but I didn't expect him to, after 10 years.
He gets down on one knee?
Yes. Yeah, after 10 years, it had finally happened, and I was super, and so I wanted to honor that. And so I decided that I told him I would pay for our wedding fully.
She insisted on paying for the entire wedding.
Pay for our wedding fully.
And you said what?
Well, at first, Your Honor, I know that it's up to the bride's side of the family to pay for it, but I didn't mind her paying for the wedding. I felt the way because I'm not a 50-50 man. I do believe in paying for everything, and I do pay for mostly everything.
Guys, just something I would like to point out. Did you notice his face when she was talking about the proposal? Completely blank. So I don't know whatever happened between the two of them. He's deeply hurt.
But when it came down to the wedding, she just insisted as an honor.
A nice gesture.
A nice gesture.
I think she was saying that you've done so much for her and that your family has done a lot, and this is something she wanted to do.
As a gesture of love and gratitude, he called it off without warning and without explanation. She wants her money back. That was the story. Then the other story
Besides
walked in.
my courtroom today, and why are you suing him?
Your Honor, to be honest, outside of the $15,000 bill that I was left with, I've had to go to the doctor for emotional distress.
But why? Wait a minute, I don't understand. See, you've been living this for a long time. You're new to my courtroom. I'm trying to understand what happened. So what happened?
The only thing I can think of is a few weeks before our wedding, I got a job offer to actually move to Seattle because they had some data analytics with companies that they wanted me, to be a part of. And when I mentioned it to him, he was very, uncomfortable, standoffish, which made sense.
Did you expect him to move to Seattle?
I mean,
I'm just asking.
I expected him to heavily consider it.
Honestly, by looking at the two of them and his face expression, I don't believe that that's the Seattle situation that caused him to call off the engagement. There's something more to this. There has to be something. I'm sensing it. My spidey sensors just like going off on this one. Because why would he be upset about the move? They would have just sit down and discussed it together and figure out the situation or the solution to this job offer.
Here is what the evidence actually shows.
Well, it was one of those things, ma'am, where before the information that I brought to the court for today, before this information was divulged onto me, everything was fine. Everything was normal. And Keisha wanted her bachelorette party a little bit earlier than the wedding, and so earlier than mine. And so I said, go ahead, go to Vegas, have a great time, paid for everything, yet again. And it's just one of those things where
you paid for the bachelorette party, too?
Of course I did. She paid for the wedding. It was only fair.
He didn't pay for everything. My homegirl paid for some of it.
Yeah, so basically, I've seen certain things happen in the household, and it's unrepairable. And it's unrepairable because of the fight that happens afterwards.
Yeah.
And
3 weeks before she left for Vegas, his best friend, a man who had been in their lives for the entire decade of that relationship, confessed something. He told the groom that a betrayal had occurred. Not a rumor, not speculation. A confession. The friend came forward on his own.
What happened?
To be honest, Your Honor,
That's what I'd like to know.
I found out that through a mutual friend of ours, Keisha had an affair with my friend Tay. And that's why we're here today.
Whoa.
I told you so. I knew there was something huge, something that this man felt very strongly about and obviously felt betrayed by his fiancée, and that's the reason he left that note. There was a reason.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And it was better for me to just go ahead and leave the messy drama behind that I knew it was going to be, this spontaneous fighting and whatnot.
Wait a minute, she was having an affair. She had sex with your good friend of 10 years.
Of 10 years. Of all people that she could have slept with, she slept with my best friend. And it hurt.
He told the truth before he was ever asked. And that truth was that the woman who was 2 weeks from becoming a wife had been intimate with the groom's closest friend while the groom was absent from his own home. She walked into that courtroom and said she didn't remember.
How about that? And so, Your Honor, he came to me as a friend and just confessed this, and I had to make a decision. I was mad at him at first, I admit, but at the same time, though, in the situation, I have to look at it, my best friend who I grew up with, or this person who I've been putting all these resources.
That's the first tell. When someone who was allegedly wronged, left without explanation, without closure, without conversation, walks into a courtroom and their first move is not to demand the truth, but to deny it. The evidence has already spoken. She didn't say it didn't happen. She said she didn't remember. Those are two completely different legal and moral positions.
Did you sleep with Tay?
Your Honor,
Did you? No, Your Honor. Yes or no? Did you sleep with Tay?
the night in question,
It's a yes or no question. Please answer.
Can you answer the question?
See, Your Honor? See?
See, you're full of it.
I was under the influence. I
I didn't ask you that.
Always the liquor with you.
I
And the
got this.
courtroom heard the difference in real time. She wanted $15,000. She wanted $15,000. The man she betrayed paid for the ring, paid for the bachelorette party that took place in Las Vegas 3 weeks after he already knew what had happened. He said nothing. He let her go. He let her have her weekend. And when she came home, he had already made his decision. He left quietly. No confrontation, no exposure, no public scene. He just left. And then she sued him. Now here is the question that reframes this entire story. Not as a relationship dispute, not as a small claims hearing, but as something far more revealing about how betrayal gets laundered into victimhood. If he had said nothing, paid for everything, and quietly removed himself from a situation that had already broken him, who exactly is the injured party standing in that courtroom? Because the injured party sued him. The witness came in and confirmed the
Known him
confession.
since I was a kid.
Let's get to the bottom line, Ted.
Okay. Jordan had me drop his car off at Keisha's place, and well, I was invited in that day, even though I was just supposed to drop the car off.
Well, why'd you go in?
See, that's a good question, Your Honor.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Usually, I'm pretty comfortable with being over there at their apartment, you know. 'Cause,
You pretty much invited
He's
yourself in.
here all the time.
Right.
Yeah, okay, this is
And-
your best friend, so it's not uncommon that you wouldn't be in the house. Okay, go ahead.
So, you know, and I had came there objectively just for one mission, to drop off the vehicle and leave. But bottom line is, we ended up drinking, me and Keisha, and she kind of discussed with me how she felt about Jordan. You know, kind of to tell me, basically told me like, you know, hey, he's a good guy, he's a stand-up man, but I'm looking for like kind of a hot boy.
Under oath, on record, he didn't minimize it. He said she told him she was bored. He said one thing led to another. He said she was on top of
Need is for
him.
you to hush. Go ahead.
So we started drinking. She starts, talking to me about Jordan, and next thing you know,
She's basically saying she's bored with Jordan.
yeah, like she's bored with him. You know, she's not really feeling what they got, going. So I'm
Did that mean feeling what they got going sexually? Is that what she was saying?
pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yes, Your Honor. So, and one thing leads to another. We take another drink, and next thing you know, she's on top of me.
So did you go back and tell Jordan what happened?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what did you say to him?
I kind of like just spilled the beans right there.
So you forgave him?
Yeah, it was hard at first, Your Honor.
I bet it was.
Yeah, it definitely
And
was.
then, critically, he said he went directly to his friend and told him the truth. That's not the behavior of someone trying to escape accountability. That is a confession delivered by the person who committed the act to the person most damaged by it, voluntarily. She wanted $15,000. The case was dismissed, correctly, completely, without hesitation.
Today, she has gone from it didn't happen. It took me at least 4 or 5 questions to get her to finally say that she did, because you even said it didn't happen at one point. So you have no credibility in here.
Ooh.
This is not right.
This is exactly how I feel about this. Get them out of here. Your case is dismissed. And if you ever sleep with your best friend's woman again, there's a place in hell for you.
Again,
Do you
so we
understand?
get the chance to do it again.
Get the hell out of here. Get him out. Get her out of here. Get her out of here.
Appreciate you, Your Honor.
I said get her out of here.
But the $15,000 was never the real question in that courtroom. The real question, the one that never got answered, is this. At what point during those final weeks, while vendors were being finalized and invitations had already gone out, did she decide that what happened with his best friend was something she didn't need to bring to him herself? She never brought it to him. He found out from the other party. That sequencing matters. It is the difference between a mistake and a decision. Go pull the public record on breach of promise to marry statutes in your state. Most jurisdictions have dramatically limited or abolished the right to sue for wedding expenses when the plaintiff is the party whose conduct caused the breakdown of the engagement. The law, in most cases, already answered this before she filed. Here is your assignment. Look up the doctrine of unclean hands in civil equity law. It's publicly available on law.cornell.edu, and then come back and tell us in the comments. Under that doctrine, did she ever have a case to begin with? If this video made you think, hit like, share it with someone who needs to see how evidence actually works. Subscribe to Real Court Case Verdict and turn on notifications because we follow the evidence wherever it leads, every single time.